northern. Watch that gun, guys. We're returning to the cave. Return to the...
Did he try to blend in with the ship? What?
It's elite cloaking technology.
Move to the cave.
Are they accepting pre-orders right now? Or?
Nope.
Is it worth playing the first one if you've never
No,
did?
it sucks.
Just one you must skip.
I don't know, I hated it.
Just got a second.
2's gonna be nothing like it, that's what they said.
Prepare for incoming.
Yeah,
very similar.
The carryovers
Okay, they are
from the first one are gonna be worth leveling at least one.
Engage him.
Kill Mal David.
Push out and engage. Push out. Moldovan's to the west of us, trying to get away.
I just killed him, he's already back out here. David. What's up, buddy?
Push back up to the base. Pizza the Hut apparently said own to him and he got very, very mad. Apparently. Whenever you see them, just like scream 1v1 own. That's just to be... While I was down. He's been trying to play to the... He's raging as somebody pulled him in and killed him.
System, you're gonna see less battle maps.
Is he like screaming and everything?
So now he's just like raging at the game because he doesn't know what's going on.
Is he streaming right now?
40. And we destroyed them across the zone until they left. Wow. What's worse is like they knew we were coming and had an opportunity to organize and they just didn't do it. Need some better healing. Alright, the guild meeting's coming up at 7. The practical stuff we're going to cover for you this evening are going to be new NVIDIA drivers and some press beta footage of Guild Wars 2 and what news there is with Star Wars, which remains essentially the same as last time. Beyond producing an additional wow, we've been out for 2 months and we've had all these positive things happen. There's really not much additional content or anything else released. There's been some articles done on some prominent web periodicals about improvements and talking about bugs and blah blah blah, but nothing substantive, no additional change. My personal push at this point is going to be for BioWare to take a long, hard look at what they're doing in Guild Wars 2 with the Mist system and to see if they can implement something similar to that, because quite frankly, at this point, it seems like it's something they have to really seriously consider.
What is the myth system? What is this?
The Mist system is very similar to an RVR-like system in Warhammer, but they call it a World v World v World system. It's basically 3 servers fighting over control of an area over a period of time. It would last about 2 weeks. It's over 24 hours a day. It has a 500-person cap, and there are siegeable objectives and so on.
Wow, that's gonna be beast.
Now, it looks
Yeah,
cool,
freaking
but
work.
once again, we've only seen about a battle with about 40 people on the screen, which is to say it's much smaller than anything that we're fighting at this moment. So until we get some definitive stress testing, it's, not really necessarily going to get better. Yeah, there. We are looking at Guild Wars 2 pretty heavily. They are delivering a lot of the RVR style play that we like, though it is called World v World v World rather than RVR. But basically the system is pretty simple. It is a system in which 3 servers are paired up based upon the server's ranking, based on how well they do, and they fight over areas called the Mists. The maps for that change. There's multiple maps, but they're giant PvP legs. Think about like Tol Barad with the 3 points, except like 100 times bigger, and with a giant central fortress that you fight over in many different battlefield objectives, which are basically mini keeps that you control, and the faction that controls them gains various types of buffs and crafting buffs and so on. I've only personally seen some smaller engagements, about 40 or 50 people. I don't know how it performs in larger engagements. We are, of course, interested in seeing how that works out. As we know from Star Wars, the problems there are significant when it comes to large numbers of players, and they capped Ilum at 120, which is even less than Tol Barad. We don't like it. Word on the street is the Mists will be capped at 500 people from among 3 different servers. If you do the math, that is about 175 or
That's
so.
per zone. It's divided amongst 4 zones.
Well, is that per zone or total? Because I don't think
zone.
it was
It's
per zone.
No, it's total.
If it's total, then that's 4
Pull up your
zones.
source.
It's about 2,000 people. That looks like more of a significant number. That's more of the mass scale PvP we're talking about. But once again, no release date given for that game yet. Apparently sometime in 2012 this year, but we don't know specifically. But I want you guys to take a look at it. Once again, I do encourage you, if you are bored with any one game that the guild is playing, to try another. If you're tired with Star Wars, Kill Jaden is recruiting, and vice versa for Star Wars. I will make no secret of the fact that there are some pretty substantial issues with the PvP system in Star Wars right now, though it does deliver in many areas, and we'll see if they get better. On paper, they're providing us with all the things we asked for: guild ships, all the fundamental UI improvements, and / random roll, and more war zones, and additional things along of that nature. But it's unknown when those things are going to be coming out, or what the design and development plans are for that. So it is a bit of a wait, and I think that this game probably will not be, quote unquote, in a more finished state for another 4 or 5 months. We'll be looking at what else is going on. But For those of you who are subscribed to both games as myself, we'll be doing some more active work with both. I know that we're going to continue to be doing the progression rating and progression operations that we have been. We are, by any stretch of the imagination, the single most dominant Republic guild on the server. We kill whom we want, when we want. We came to Star Wars to humble Dara Mactire, and humbled they have been. At this point, no one really seriously questions that we completely destroyed them at every turn, and that we do it every day at scheduled events, as we are doing at this moment now. Lovely Moldovan was wiped off of the face of this zone earlier, screaming and crying about being massacred by us, until he left with his mom literally screaming in the background. But at this point, that's probably a good metaphor for where Dara Mactire as an organization is at. They are largely in retreat and disarray, and I don't really expect them to be a serious threat to us in this game. And we can certainly say our narrative for Star Wars thus far has been: we came, we saw, we conquered, we are the top PvP guild, we are the top PvE guild, we dominate in all areas, and we're continuing to produce excellent content. We have a lot of people who are stepping up to continue to expand the gaming organization into a variety of different areas. I know that we are doing some League of Legends coverage. We'll be doing some coverage of ongoing coverage of Mass Effect 3, Skyrim, Diablo 3, World of Warcraft is being done pretty heavily. I know all the TGN directors are now trying to raid with you, Thrias. Make sure that you do speak with Pure Shield and company about that, and we'll continue to move forward. Tally remains active in the organization, though he has his reservations about Star Wars. He is more gung-ho about Terra. We'll see whether or not he sticks with it. This is very limited PvE content, which seems to be his focus. But I do strongly suggest that you guys do help out, step up, and get involved. We've taken the time to compile a lot of the information on Guild Wars 2. I suggest you guys take a look at it, form your own opinions about it. I'm not going to tell you which games to play. I'm just going to provide the information so you can make your own decisions yourselves. But that said, Star Wars is definitely struggling with a major problem, which is that we have exhausted the content. The vast majority of you who've been with me since day one have become all Battle Masters, full Battle Master gear, best PvP gear in the game, and are completing all of your PvE on clear, which means that you have completed all content on all difficulty levels in every aspect of the game and have the best gear. So, I personally am at a point where I have literally beaten the game at this point, and I think many more people are in that situation. And that's great for Mass Effect, not cool for an MMO. So there is some problem with the fact that there's sort of a finite end game there. But I do want people to understand that the organization offers a lot more than just any one game. There are different places to play. There's FPSs to play. There's co-op games such as Mass Effect, which are coming out, all of which are quite good. And I do suggest that you guys take a chance to look at it. For those of you who are stepping up and taking on additional responsibilities in the organization, I do continue to thank you for all the hard work. There's a lot of people who are doing quite a bit to make sure that we're accomplishing our objective. We've made some changes to the way things are getting done in the organization. We had some minor drama that we had to deal with the Ruin Gaming branch on Star Wars, but I'll make this simple observation. Basically, guys, I don't tolerate being douchebags to other guild members. I don't care what your perceived skill cap is in this game. If you're uncivil and don't want to work with or help out with people in the organization, I'm going to kick you out of the guild, and you will not be allowed back in. There is no excuse, no matter how good you are at some game, for treating people poorly. If they don't make requirements for your rated team or for your raid, then you, as a professional and as a scholar and a gentleman or a lady, will tell them, you need to work on X, Y, and Z. You are not qualified. It's nothing personal. Move on. No reason to be like, you're bad, you're terrible, you're this or that, and get into the ad hominem type of personal attacks, because that is demeaning and that is not how professionals work. Also, generally, I will come up to you and I will inform you that you really should not be the arrogant prick that you are, because frankly, you're not actually that good. Most of the people that I've found who have the biggest egos about this sort of thing are at best mediocre players, and I have had some of the best players from many games across the MMO market in this organization, all of whom at the top ends have been, by and large, very polite, and very professional and trying to just work on their gameplay. They don't need to reassert and reaffirm themselves by making constant, absurd comments about how good they are. And for further elaboration on this point, no arena or rating system of any kind currently exists in Star Wars. It's the first 2 months, so please don't have a chip on your shoulder because you think you're good at doing pug war zones. That's the equivalent of somebody in World of Warcraft being like, yeah bro, in my mind I'm so good at doing normal battlegrounds against like fresh level 85s who have no idea what they're doing. I'm so good. Any serious player or any serious organization is going to look at you, they're going to chuckle, and they're going to ignore you. Please do not be that guy. Don't be Moldova. Yeah, man, in our 4-man pre-man and an 8-man war zone, we thought we were doing really well while we were leveling up. Let's go to MLG and try to get a contract from them. Because you saw how that worked out. You get laughed out of the MLG circuit. Like, it is such a joke. So be nice. Recognize that without a rating system, just the ego aspect of it, thinking you're a really amazing player, doesn't actually make you an amazing player. And frankly, there's no way to tell regardless. You might be a great player, but, frankly, who the fuck cares? Enjoy, play the game. You're not going to be making Major League Baseball type money as a player. If, however, you want to be a useful, helpful, capable person making information which is useful in terms of news and information and being informative to the rest of the guild and larger gaming community, you might actually get paid for that. But that requires that you have information that people want and you take the time. And I do respect those who have put the time into making that kind of coverage for us. It has helped, and it certainly helped us get on the map as an organization. And I want to continue to do to provide that sort of feedback. Because guess what? The developers read it and look at it. We've enormously influenced many of the games that we've worked heavily to speak with the developers and give them a sense of what we want. You have seen it time and time and again. The things that we've asked to have put into Star Wars are definitely being developed. They've all been responded to directly by the developers on multiple occasions now. So I will say once again, that is the one saving grace of Star Wars. Though I'm not completely pleased with the current status of the game, I will give their community managers and their developers credit. They have listened. They have responded, and surprisingly, they have actually decided to work on the things that we've asked for. So once again, if you have any additional problems with the game, please let us know. And beyond the obvious stuff like, yes, I too want additional war zones. I want the bugs fixed. I want more RVR legs. I want them to take a look at what they're doing in basically Guild Wars 2 and Terra with the additional RVRs. And I want the rated systems from World of Warcraft. I want all those things, and I want my cake, and I want to eat it too. Because you know what? That's what consumers are asking for. It might not be reasonable, but it is actually what people want. And the more that we can have that stuff delivered, and not just in Star Wars, but in other games. I think these are things that I wish Blizzard would give a shit about, but I will be quite blatantly honest with where Blizzard is at as a company. Yes, they're making Mists of Pandaria, but let's be quite honest. Their development schedule is focused on Diablo 3, the StarCraft expansion, and Titan. They understand there's only so much they can do with a 7-year-old game. The things that we are expecting and wanting from WoW are probably never going to be put in. And though there will be some additional changes, there will not be fundamental changes. I doubt you're ever going to see anything like the Mist system in WoW, period, the end. But who knows? We've been surprised in the past. But that said, things are going well for the guild. We're extremely active across multiple branches. We have a great officer corps. Content continues to be produced. The company's doing well. And I'm very pleased with people's performance. I think as far as the guild can be concerned, we're doing everything we can and doing everything we can right. We can't do any better than what we've accomplished in terms of PvE progression or influencing the games or coming out here and providing services to the member base and to the larger Star Wars and WoW communities. It just comes down to what the games have to offer. And that's something that's largely beyond our control. We can provide feedback and suggestions and contact developers, but we are not actually fixing or making the games. That's ultimately in their court. Alright, and that's pretty much it. That's the situation as far as the guild meeting is concerned. I do expect you to check in on this information. I do expect a few changes to be made in the WoW branches. I'll be helping out with some recruitment there and making sure that we are cleaning up the rosters, making sure the inactivities are taken care of. and that we're bringing in new people. But I will make this clear, guys. This has come up recently, and I'm gonna be very clear in front of all of you so that it's not twisted or in some way misunderstood. I have no interest in trying to completely reform the Alliance faction there. We acted as world police and dominated Kil'jaeden for almost 2 years before Star Wars came out. In that time, people became complacent and dependent upon us. And they became, I think, very ungrateful for all the work and all the support that we provided for that faction. And you've seen all the nasty comments and attacks that were made on the guild. And we always said that once we went on to Star Wars or played other games, that the server would go back to its original status, which was, once again, many more Horde players than Alliance, and they would be in a situation where Horde would be dominant again, just through sheer force of will and numbers. And they've accomplished that. I don't expect you guys to carry the entire Alliance faction. I say this, only fight the battles that you can win. If you're in a situation where they make errors, and they've put themselves in a vulnerable position, sure, go ahead and have fun and take, and kill them. But it's just bragging rights. It doesn't really provide you with any benefit. I expect that for the time being that you guys are on cruise control, doing your raiding, working on your gear sets, and ultimately understanding that, you've probably at this point all killed Deathwing many, many times. That's the end of Cataclysm. You're looking at another expansion coming out down the line, but it's not your job to be out there playing World Police. And to be frank, when you have a city of like 200 or 300 people online on the entire Alliance faction, why are you guys responsible for playing police for them? If they won't even defend themselves, then why should you go out of your way to defend them? So do what you can when you want, but I wouldn't be forcing people into siege calls every 15 minutes. It's needless and it's disruptive, and I'd say make it as optional as possible, because I don't expect you guys to be dealing with the fact that you are 3-to-1 outnumbered. When Horde decided to come out, the 120 plus people, and you've got a third of that number online, and no support from any real serious Alliance guilds, there's only so much you can do. So understand that. There's no reason to put yourself in a position where you're going to be losing battles for no reason. If we were fully back in WoW, that would be a different situation, but let's be honest, we're not. Things are changing, new games are coming out, and we have to be aware of that reality. That's pretty much it. I do expect you guys will continue to do well, continue to do your raid content and expand and maintain what has always been a very large and active branch by any standards. But you are not the entire Alliance server. And we, in the same way, are not the entire Republic faction either, though sometimes it seems like that. We are out here to help our members, to make sure that you guys get your dailies and weeklies done, get your content done, your raids are successful. Beyond that, other people have to step up and take on the responsibility. As long as we're winning our battles, that's all that matters. Alright, everyone good?
Yep.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
We should all be done our weekly by now, everybody.
No,
I'm
not yet.
assuming the entire
It's
faction has
30.
killed every last Imperial here to the point where they are no longer worth value. Is that correct?
They're actually